Shalom, shalom. Let me just make sure everything's good. And we'll get this started. I'm going to get that instead. We'll get this started. Shalom. All right. Hey, shalom, shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all glory, praise, and honor to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rakakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Peace and much love, honors and blessings, salutations to the elect of Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, which fear and tremble, holding the conduct, composure, and integrity sincerely to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai. All right, this is Yakuwah, and as you see, the title of this lesson is how the Isthmus of Panama and how North America became known as North America. Hey, shalom, so this lesson, is going to include quite a bit of info. Lord willing, it's edifying because this is a good point to hit. When you look in the scriptures, it refers to Israel being under the hand of their enemy in the land of the north. All right. And when you look at, geographical location of where Israel is and where their enemies were located, it was not in the land of the north. All right. Because when you go to, all right, I'm going to get this map. Well, you know what? Salakia, I have a lot of tabs pulled up, man. But when you look at the location of Israel to America, all right, which Israel is right over here. All right, you see it? You should be able to see it right there, Israel, Jerusalem. All right. But when you look up the location of Israel and the land, so again, if you just keep your eye where Israel is, actually, I can do that. America is not to the north of Israel, all right? It's to the west. America is to the west. And so that can't fit, all right? But then when you look at how it said in Psalms, the 137, in verse 7, it says, remember, O Lord, all right, the children of Edom in the day of Jerusalem, who said, race it, even to the foundation thereof. All right. So these people, which Edom, Esau, the so-called white man, they took us into captivity. All right. When you go to the very above description, it says an experience of the captivity. All right. It says in Psalms 137:3, for there they that carried us away captive. All right. We were carried away. All right. We were taken into captivity and carried out of our land. All right. And pursuant to Deuteronomy, the 28th chapter. All right. And I'm going to start at the 67th verse. Actually, you know what? 28 and 65. Because Psalms 137 is an entire song of longing and crying to go back to our land. All right. It says that we desire Zion because we're not there today. All right. It said, and among these nations, Deuteronomy 28:65, it says, and among these nations shalt thou find no ease, neither shall the sole of thy foot have rest, but the Lord Yahweh shall give thee there a trembling heart and failing of eyes and sorrow of mind. Why is it going to be failing of eyes? Because we're not going to be able to get back what we desire, which is to go back to Israel. It says, and thy life shall hang in doubt before thee, and thou shalt fear day and night, and shall have none assurance of thy life. That's why it's a nightmare living in America. All right. Because we fear day and night. It's a fearful, unpleasant experience. And just like I read in Psalms of 137, oh man, I'll go ahead and get it back. In Psalms 137, Salakia. Psalms 137, right there again, it says an experience of captivity. The experience that we have here in America, man, is very unpleasant. It's a nightmare. All right. We're in fear because our life hangs in the balance every day among the so-called white man because he consumes us. All right. He kills us. He lays us down. All right. Like it said in Psalms 137:7, remember, O Lord, the children of Edom in the day of Jerusalem who said, race it, race it. They're, taking us out every day, man, killing us. All right. It says, so going back to Deuteronomy 28:66, and thy life shall hang in doubt before thee, and thou shalt fear day and night, and shalt have none assurance of thy life. It says, in the morning thou shalt say, with the Most High it were even, and at even thou shalt say, with the Most High it were morning. Yeah, man, we pray in this time, man, we praying every day that the Lord return. Man, we wishing that the kingdom would come. It says, for the fear of thine heart, wherewith thou shalt fear, and for the sight of thine eyes, which thou shalt see, and the Lord shall bring thee, all right, into Egypt again with ships, which Egypt means bondage, all right, so being a slave again, being in captivity. And again, it says, and Yahweh shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships, by the way whereof I spake unto thee. Thou shalt see it no more again, and there you should be sold. What aren't you going to see again? All right, you're not going to see your homeland again, which was Israel. All right. It says, thou shalt see it no more again, and there you shall be sold unto your enemies for bondmen and bondwomen, and no man shall buy you. And the common question that's always asked when we bring out the scripture is, when did Israel ever go back to Israel? All right. When did the children of Israel, the so-called Negro, Latino, Native American, Indian man, when did they ever go back to Israel? It never happened. All right. Once we left from the western parts of Africa, when we were carried into captivity, all right, we never went back to that land. All right. And the way that we were dealt with while we were being carried away, it was terrible, man. Isaiah 22:17, it says, but behold, the Lord will carry thee away with a mighty captivity. All right. It says, and will surely cover thee. That word carry again, man, we were taken away out of our land. All right. And we never saw it again. And we were ultimately brought to what was called the land of the north. Okay. Zechariah 2:6 says, ho, ho, come forth and flee from the land of the north, saith the Lord. For I have spread you abroad as the four winds of the heaven, saith the Lord. So what's that land of the north? All right. And that's the ultimate, the premise, the topic of this lesson is how did North America become North America? Because before, you got to understand in history, the Americas, all right, America was always referred to as the Americas. All right. You had South America. Well, actually, no, it was actually referred to as South America. All right. And then as time progressed, you ended up having sections that were determined through what was called the Isthmus of Panama. All right. The Isthmus of Panama. And this was a strip of land that ultimately gave the naming to the South and North America. Because again, before that, it was just known as the Americas. All right. So when we go into what the Isthmus of Panama was, all right, the Isthmus of Panama was also historically known as the Isthmus of Darien, was the narrow strip of land that lies between the Caribbean Sea and the Pacific Ocean. So now when you look over here in this picture, I wish I could actually, hell yeah, I can. When you look at this picture, all right, it shows you what that strip of land was. The Tanner part, that was that was the Salakia. That was the Isthmus of Panama. All right, because it said that it was a narrow strip of land that lies between the Caribbean Sea and the Pacific Ocean, linking North and South America. Now, there's some info that I want to bring out because in the naming of in the naming of the Isthmus of Panama, um, you also had, well, you notice it says Isthmus of Panama, right? Well, you had a lot of controversy going on uh, for this, for control of this strip of land. All right. You also had it amongst the Panama Canal, and today the Panama Canal is highly used. Oh, hello. Okay, Salakia. I thought the chat or the Salakia. But as I was saying, you got the Panama Canal that was highly, being highly used to this very day because it was, uh, what do you call it? When you can't really sail around the bottom part of South America, all right? But it also cut time through transporting certain goods, that America was using, all right? Which we already get this, man. But there was a lot of friction going on in this area of land because you had America trying to control that part of land. So really, because America wanted full control of all the Americas, all right? Because you have going down to uh, you have Salaki. I'm also reading this information, but let me get back on my point. So, like I was saying, you just had America trying to control all the land. All right, all the land meaning. I wish I had a map of that to see if I do. I guess I'll use this for now. If you see America, you got Canada, you got Mexico, and then you got below, Mexico, you got South America. And when when Esau was coming from Europe, all right, they were controlling. Really, they were slaughtering the Israelites because you'll look at. There's a good book. You know what? Actually, I'll pull it up. I mention this book all the time. There's a book by a man named Bartolomeu de las Casas, and he recorded the events of what Esau was doing to the children of Israel. Devastation of Indies. There you go. Which I have this book, man. But he was recording what Esau. I mean, you could just see it right there. Damn, I didn't even notice. But look at this. Look at that, man. That's fucked up. That's what Esau was doing because Esau, Columbus, Christopher Colon was coming over. All right. And we already know, we already have the accounts of what he was doing to our people. All right. He was cutting off their hands, which, I mean, if you look at these pictures, all right, you can tell. All right. There's burnings. All right. I wonder if I can make it bigger. Salaki, but just look at the pictures, man. But during the recordings of Bartolomé de las Casas, he was talking about the real reasons why Esau was coming over to the Americas. Because in this book, all right, by Bartolomé de las Casas, I wish I had a picture of it, man. All right, the devastation of the Indies. They started in Hispaniola. Okay. Then here you go. This is the book right here. In the devastation of the Indies, but they started they started they started in Hispaniola, and then after they wiped out all the Israelites over there, they worked their way down. They went from the bottom of, literally, man. They just started from the bottom, went to the top. Esau started at the bottom of South America, and as he was pillaging the land, getting rid of all the Israelites, the people, because that's who was here in the original from the beginning. Our people, which was proven through the Apocrypha, we came over here to the Americas, man, to flee. All right, we to get away from captivity, and we were trying to, flee the ones oppressing us so that we could keep the laws of Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua. All right, it's proven. I'll pull it up for edification. All right, second. But Esau knew exactly where we were at. All right, he used the scriptures to find the location of our people. He knew exactly where Gad was located. where Reuben was located, all right, Issachar, he knew exactly where we were at, man, through the scriptures. It was no coincidence that when Christopher Colon came over to the Americas and when he came to the mainland, all right, um, where is that scripture? But he started, you have the account of Plymouth Rock, right? Um, over there in 1620. Why do you think he started in Boston, Massachusetts, man? Well, when they came over to Boston, Massachusetts, um, Ahas, Sarah, bear with me. Salakia, man. But anyways, while I'm trying to find the scripture, I need to get my actual apocrypha. Is it 14? I thought it was 14. Um, Asareth. There you go. There. Oh, 13. Okay, Salakia. But again, the question arises: why did Christopher Colon, when he was coming to the Americas, why did he start from the east side? Because that's where Gad was at. When you go into the blessing, or Gad and Reuben, when you go into the blessing for Gad, um, in the book of Deuteronomy, the 33rd chapter, it tells you that Gad appointed the fairest part of the land to himself. And the fairest part of the land was the Americas, was actually North America. All right. That's how Christopher Colon knew where they were located. And then you had Reuben also dwelling, around the area of Florida. So Esau knew where we were at, man, already. And he also knew that he was going to call this place the land of the north. All right. You got something called manifest destiny. All right. Esau knew he was supposed to come over here eventually to take our people to captivity. And this is where he was going to spend the remainder of his time in his kingdom over here, keeping us captive. But this is Second Esdras, chapter 13, verse 39. It says, and whereas thou sawest that he gathered another peaceable multitude unto him, it says, those are the 10 tribes which were carried away prisoners out of their own land, again, carried out of our land of Israel, right? In the time of Hoshea, the king, whom Salmanassar, the king of Assyria, led away captive. And he carried them over the waters, and so came they into another land. The waters, all right? Because again, we were carried away, man. All right. The same way we were carried away out of West Africa over the waters, all right, into another land, the far land, all right, the hindermost of the land. The hindermost being meaning the furthest away. When you look at, again, I'm gonna pull it up. Let's see if this is it. Nope. When you look up the location, nope, that's not it either. Let's try this. Yeah, okay, so again, if you look right here, just bear with me while this slow ass internet is. All right, again, I'm gonna zoom it up. There's Israel, right? All right, all this land is where basically mankind was at. All right, you had Africa, you had Asia, you had Europe. All right, this is where all humanity was basically dwelling at the time. But you did have the 10 tribes over here in the other land, which was known as America. How's it go? Ahasarat Arataza, or Asarat Arataza, meaning another land. And that other land was called America. All right, but this is the furthest away. All right, I'm going to do that just to be silly. But this is the furthest landmass away from Israel. All right. Because everybody else was dwelling over here, man, in the east part of the world. Okay, I don't know why it's doing that, but pursuant to Jeremiah, all right, what is it, 50? It says Jeremiah 50 and 12. It says, "Your mother shall be sore confounded; she that bare you shall be ashamed." Which is, who is it talking about? America. Who was the mother of America? Britain. All right. It says, behold, the hindermost of the nations shall be a wilderness, a dry land, and a desert. So when you look up the word hindermost, all right, it says the end, the last, prophetic for future time, because this was going to be the last part, or the last part of the, how do you say it? This was going to be the last captivity where Israel was going to be under the so-called white man. That was, like I said, prophetic for future time. But it's also meaning the furthest, all right? And when you look again, right here, which right there, you got Israel. Again, America's the furthest away. But again, the naming of America and how it was known as the North in the scriptures, that all came in through the Isthmus of Panama, all right? Because before you had North America being called North America, it was referred to as the Americas. And then the Isthmus of Panama was what divided the namings of North and South America. They were literally, America wasn't called North America until until America claimed the Isthmus of Panama. Because going back into let me see, I'm going to get some information. In 1965, you had disagreements between Panama and America. They were fighting over the canal, or the Panama Canal, and basically, this is how Esau, he prospered in his lies, right? Because he was starting to propagandize, Panama and all that, the ones that were controlling it, because America, through his lies, gave Panama an inadequate amount of time to safeguard the canal. And then shortly after a while, in 1965, America, under the Bush administration, not 1965, but under the Bush administration, they accused the General Manuel, I can't even say his name, Noriega. They accused him of using the canal to drug traffic. All right. So then that's how America created that propaganda to take the Panama Canal and claim it for themselves. All right. So shortly after, they invaded the Panama and took the canal. But this is how America gained control of the Isthmus of Panama as well. And they were calling it, the North America. So Isthmus of Panama, it says, also historically known as the Isthmus of Darien, is the narrow strip of land that lies between the Caribbean Sea and the Pacific Ocean, linking North and South America. It contains the country of Panama and the Panama Canal. Like many isthmuses, it is a location of great geopolitical and strategic importance. All right. Let's see. I think that might be it on that. But yeah, man. So you can see where the isthmus is located. All right. This whole strip right there. But that connects North and South America. All right. So when you go into the scriptures, this is how you prove that, North America is, that's how we know this is our captivity. All right. So there's some more information I want to read. Let me go ahead and get this. Zechariah 2:6, because it says, ho, ho, come forth and flee from the land of the north, saith the Lord. All right. The land of the north is talking about America. Why do we got to flee from there, though? All right. Why does it say to flee from the land of the north? All right. You got, let's see. Let me get this in Jeremiah 16. The same thing is being said right here in Jeremiah 16:14. Therefore, it says, therefore, behold, the days come, saith the Lord, that it shall no more be said, the Lord liveth, that brought up the children of Israel out of the land of Egypt. But the Lord liveth, that brought up the children of Israel from the land of the north, and from all the lands whither he had driven them, and I will bring them again into the land that I gave unto the fathers. Who's controlling the land of the north? Esau. All right. This is no, mystery anymore. We already know, man, we are here among our enemies, because there was actually something I wanted to point out. when you go into the breakdown of Judah in Genesis 49, all right, there's actually, let's see, what do you call it? Like a clue where we were going to be dwelling. All right, let's see. This is Genesis chapter 49 and 12 or in 8. It says, Judah, thou art he whom thy brethren shall praise. It says, thy hand shall be in the neck of thine enemies. So it's telling you we were going to be among our enemies. This is a sign, man. All right, of where we were going to be dwelling in the last days. Because remember, this was a prophecy, man. All right, this is a prophecy. Genesis 49 and 1, it says, and Jacob called unto his sons and said, gather yourselves together, that I may tell you that which shall befall you in the last days. Now, when you go into the word befall, all right, it goes into to encounter. All right, so Jacob was saying, what you shall encounter, right, in the last days. Now, check this out. When you look at the word last days, let's see, I think it's last. All right, I believe it's like qua araf, I believe. It should say, let me see. It should be qua araf. Qua araf, I believe. That's how you say it the proper way. But the word right there, last, it says latter time for prophetic for future. So it's really talking about what shall befall or what you shall encounter in the future days. All right. So let's go back to let's go back. So again, Genesis 49 and 1, and Jacob called unto his sons and said, gather yourselves together, that I may tell you that which shall befall you in the last days. And going back down to Genesis 49 and 8. So now we understand that this is where we're going to be in the last days, the hindermost. All right, the last captivity. Genesis 49 and 8 says, Judah, thou art he whom thy brethren shall praise. Thy hand shall be in the neck of thine enemies. Thy father's children shall bow down before thee. So now we understand that we were going to be dwelling in that same land with our enemy. So going back to Psalms 137, who is our enemy? All right. Psalms 137 and 7, it says, remember, O Lord, the children of Edom in the day of Jerusalem, who said, race it, even to the foundations thereof. O daughter of Babylon, who art to be destroyed, because we know we are in Babylon. All right, America. All right, the house of confusion. So that's our enemy, Esau. And we're dwelling among him in his land, which is what? The land of the north. Okay. So let's see if this will give me something. The name of America says the naming of the Americas or America occurred shortly after Christopher Columbus' first voyage to the Americas in 1492. It is generally accepted that the name derives from Amerigo Vespucci, which is true. All right. Amerigo Vespucci is the one who discovered, America. All right. And it will even tell you that Christopher Colon, also AKA Christopher Columbus, he was making voyages from Europe over here to the Americas. He was going to, he actually even went to Hispaniola. All right. And he went to South America. He went to Central America. He went to North America because, again, he was referring to the Americas as the mainland, or the north part of America as the mainland. All right. And so it says that the naming of the Americas or America occurred shortly after Christopher Columbus' first voyage to the Americas in 1492. It is generally accepted that the name derives from Amerigo Vespucci. All right, that's where you get the name. That's where you get the name of America, America. All right, which we already know what America means. All right, it means bitter. All right, so it said the Italian explorer who explored the new continents in the following years on behalf of Spain and Portugal However, some have suggested other explanations, including being named after a mountain range in Nicaragua or after Richard America of Bristol. So the only place in the world that is referred to as the land of the North, or that has North in their name, is America. All right. You actually had a couple of other regions, but no, man, because what I'm trying to get at, all right, Salakia, is how when you look at geographical locations of, let's see, where is it? When you look at the location of Israel to Edom, Salakia, man, I'm trying to find it. Let's see, which one did I click? Okay, yeah, right here on the right. Just look at the location of Israel, which is right there in big old blue, to the location of Edom. All right. How could that be? How could we be in the land of the north and under the captivity of our enemy when Edom is located south of Israel? All right. So that should also mark it out. Like that can't be it. You know, we're not dwelling in the land of Edom. All right. You know, where are we? You know, and again, America was located west of Israel. All right. So it has to line up when we look into the scriptures. All right. Let's see. There's a scripture in Zechariah, I believe the 10th chapter. All right. Let me go ahead and get it. Just lock in. Just bear with me. This one, do it. Zechariah chapter 10, verse 9. It says, and I will sow them among the people, and they shall remember me in far countries, and they shall live with their children and turn again. Now, what did it say in Baruch, the 3rd chapter? Right? Actually, Baruch 2. Baruch 2 and I'll start at verse 28. It says, and as thou speakest, no, Salak. You know what? Let me get to the point. Baruch 2 and 31, it says, and shall know that I am the Lord their power, for I will give them an heart and ears to hear. Now, like I just read in Zechariah, that in the far country they shall remember themselves and they shall come, you know, they shall basically turn back, right? It says, for I will give them an ear and heart and ears to hear, and they shall praise me in the land of their captivity and think upon my name. When did that happen? Over here in America. All right. The Lord gave us a spirit through Abba Vivens, and then it fell down to the apostles and to the rest of the Akim, man, to where we came back to our remembrance, right? It said, and they shall return from their stiff neck and from their wicked deeds, for they shall remember the ways of their fathers, which sinned before me, or before the Lord. Now you go to the next chapter. All right. It says, Baruch 3 and 8, it says, oh no, Baruch 3 and 6, it says, for thou art the Lord our power, and thee, O Lord, will we praise. For this cause thou hast put thy fear in our hearts, to the intent that we should call upon thy name and praise thee in our captivity. For we have called to mind all the iniquity of our fathers that sinned before thee. Behold, we are yet this day in our captivity, where thou hast scattered us for reproach and a curse, to be subject to payments. That's all happening over here in America. All right, we are subject to payment. Shit, I'm on a fucking payment plan right now for something. It says, and to be subject to payments according to all the iniquities of our fathers, which departed from the Lord our power. But this is just showing that we're still under the captivity. All right. And in pursuing to Zechariah, the 10th chapter, the 9th verse, we're in a far country. Again, the hindermost of the nations is referring to America. That's the furthest part away, man. All right. That's the furthest landmass away from Israel. All right. I wish I could show y'all, man. I wish I could do it better. But you get it, man. You should know, if you have, whoever's viewing, you should know where Israel's located, right here. All right. I'm gonna go ahead and click it. There you go. Slovakia. Man, I don't know how to. This is the best I can do, man, with limited technology. But you see it. So when you read through the scriptures, when it talks about how we were carried away, all right, or how we serve our enemies in a land that we don't know, or a faraway country, America fits that criteria. It meets that criteria. All right. Or man never dwelt is referring to America, because no one would dwell in the land of America. Even the voyages that Solomon would take, all right, to come and get, the peacocks, like I was talking about, I believe in Chronicles, when he was coming back with spices, he would send a voyage, and it would take us a year and a half to get over to the Americas, and it would take a year and a half to get back. That's why nobody was dwelling over there. All right. Because it took a long ass time to get back. All right. But they would always come back to Israel. All right. So, but no one would dwell here in America. All right. But you had this place. It wasn't even called America at the time. All right. Not until, Esau came over and he started calling it, the bitterness or the bitters. All right. But it wasn't named the North until the Isthmus of Panama, all right? And that's just basically the point I wanted to get out, man. Like, this is how you determine North and South America, all right? And so I want to get these scriptures, man, because, it needs to be edifying to the scriptures. Jeremiah 23:8 says, "But the Lord liveth, which brought up and which led the seed of the house of Israel out of the north country, and from all countries whither I had driven them, and they shall dwell in their land." Because we're not there, but we're not back in Israel right now. All right, this is a future prophecy, man. We're waiting to get delivered out of this piece of shit place. All right. Jeremiah 16:15, "But the Lord liveth, that brought up the children of Israel from the land of the north, because we were carried away over to this land. All right, and from the lands whither he had driven them, and I will bring them again into their land that I gave unto their fathers," because we were never brought back to our land. All right. If we were to be taken into the captivity of Edom back to his land, we would have had to go back north to go back to Israel. So that doesn't make sense. All right. But then you had, Psalms, what that's just talking about who our enemy is, pursuant to Genesis, the 49th chapter. Our hand shall be in the neck of thine enemies. Our enemy is Esau. All right. But that's talking about the daughter of Babylon. All right. But the daughter of Babylon was considered the hindermost of the nations. All right. Let's see what else we got. Yeah. Jeremiah 50:12. All right. But Zechariah 2:6 again says, "For ho, come forth and flee from the land of the north, saith the Lord. For I have spread you abroad as the four winds of the heavens, saith the Lord." But the land of the north, again, North America. All right. So, I know it was scattered, and, I pray that this is edifying, man. All right. But it's one thing I did also want to mention. Again, when Columbus was coming over, man, he started from the east part, man. He started in Boston, Massachusetts. You had the Plymouth Rock. You had him going down to Florida, or parts of Cuba, Puerto Rico. All right. And all this he was doing because he was actually taking our people out, and he knew exactly where to go. Again, he used these scriptures, man, to get to our people. All right. To conquer our people and to make us their slaves. So, and again, he was referring to this place as the mainland. All right. He referred specifically to North America as the mainland. All right. So, Lord willing, I can redo this or continue or, do another expansion on it, man. I want to get it better and, more edifying. But, Lord willing, man, this lesson was edifying. I'm going to go to end it. But the naming America came through the Isthmus of Panama. All right. Before that, it was called the Americas. After they claimed that strip of land, that's what divided it from the North and the South of America. So, Lord willing, again, it's edifying. I want to give all glory, praise, and honor to Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Bahashim, Kakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. All right, peace and much love, honors and blessings, salutations to the elect of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. All right, Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, Brakatham, Kwam Nisha Allah, Shalom.